everyone, welcome back to WsCube. In our today's session, we will be solving problems related to the topics that we have covered so far in this module.
Also, if you want to become a successful data analyst and you want to learn from our industrial experts, then you may call on the number given below, or you can also click on the link given in our description. Not just that, with our every batch, you will be getting 2 demo classes for free. So let's get started, guys.
So one by one, we will be starting solving problems. We have 5 problems in front of us. We will be solving all of them. First of all, we'll start with the problem number 1. So our first problem says write a program to display a person's age, name and address in 3 different lines. Okay, let's create variables over here. We know that we have to write a person's name, age and address. So we can take a variable plus we can do it with a simple print statement as well, like print. Let's say the person's name is John. Print. We can write over here the age. So 23. Print. Address. Let's say the John lives somewhere near street 25, house number 678. 325, house number 678. Now if I run this program, it gives me John 23, street 25, house number 678. There's this way to do it. Other way is when we take a variable. So we can take a variable called as name. Name is equals to John. Age is equals to 23. Address is equals to street 25, house number 678. And then we can print all of them. So print name, print age, and lastly print our address. So if I run this program, it will print me John 23, street 25, house number 678. So there are 2 methods of doing it. One with simply writing the print statement. Second one is we create a variables and print those variables. You can go ahead with any of these methods. It's totally up to you. Now we'll start with our question number 2. So our problem is to write a program to swap 2 variables over here. Let's create any 2 variables. So I'm creating a variable A whose value is 23 and variable B whose value is, let's say, 46. Now what I'll do, I'll write A, B is equals to B, A. What it will do, it will assign the A's value to B and B's value to A. Now let's say I'll write print the value of variable A is, I'll put a comma. So far it is a string. To write a variable, I'll write A over here, print the value of variable B is, B. Okay. So according to our program, according to the problem, our variable A should be 46 and our variable B should be 23. Let's run and see. Yes, the value of variable A is 46. Here it is 23, but because we have swapped, so for swapping, what we have done, we have written A, B, that means the 2 variables that we need, and the variables we need to swap into. So we want to swap A to B. So all we need to do is write A, B is equals to B, A. So that's how we can do the swapping of 2 variables. Now, our next problem is problem number 3. Write a program to convert a float into an integer. To convert a float into an integer, this is a part you might have understood that this is a part from typecasting, where one data type is converted into another data type. So here what we are going to do, we are going to convert a float into an integer, which is very simple. All we need to do is create a variable. I'm creating a variable A over here, assigning it a value of a float. So float means decimal numbers. So I'm gonna write over here 13.876. Okay. What I need to do is I need to convert it into an integer. Right now, if I print it, print A, and also if I print the type of A. So let's see what output we get. We get it's 13.876 and it belongs to the classes of float. All we need to do is to convert it into integer. To convert it into integer, we will be writing A is equals to int A. I'm going to print A and also I'm going to print the type of A. So if I run the program, you can see previously it was 13.876 and the class was float. Now when we converted it into the integer, it went back to 13. It removed the values after the decimal and only wrote 13. And the type is integer now. That's how you can convert a float into an integer. Okay guys, coming to our problem number 4, it says write a program to take details from a student for ID card and then print it in a different lines. Okay. So let's take details. So if we have to take a detail from someone, we take an input from the user. Here we will be using user input. So I'm going to write over here what details we need for the identity card or for a student is we take their name, we take their, so let's assume that it's a college identity card. So which year they are studying in, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. The first thing is name. Name comes in a string. We know that the data type that we are going to use here is string, which is default. That's why we don't need to write anything over here. We can directly write input, that we are taking the input from the user and enter your name here. Okay. After taking the name as an input, I will be asking for the person's year, that in which year they are studying. So year is equals to input. Enter your year here. Okay. Now, why I haven't used integer over here? Because a student might write 4 or can also write 4th. So it is totally up to them that they write 4 or 4th. So to avoid happening that, here we are not going to do anything with the algebra, or we are not using it in the equation, so that we need to use int only. We can use string as well, so that if a person, it's totally up to person that if they want to write 4 or they want to write 4th. Right. So we are taking an input as a name, second input as a year, and maybe we can ask them for their contact number. So yes, phone number will be an integer. So here I'll write phone underscore number. Another the rule for writing a variable, that we cannot use a space in between. We can use an underscore, but we cannot use a space in between. That's why I'm using an underscore in between. And int input, enter your phone number here. So I guess these 3 details would be enough for a student ID card as of now. So let's print it. Print. We are going to print name. Next thing we are going to print, as we are told to print it in different lines. If we were told to do it in the same line, I would have written it name, comma, year, comma, phone number. I would have done it like this. But because we have been asked to do it in different lines, so in the first, I'll take a print statement, write name in it. Another print statement, write year in it. And then another print statement where I will be adding the phone number. So phone number here. Let's run and see what happens. It's asking for the name. So let's say name is John. John is now younger because he is in college now. So let's say he is 19 years old, and his phone number is, I'm just taking any random number. So John, who is 19 years old, and this is his contact details. It can get printed in the student ID card. So we have taken the details for the student ID card. If you want to make our program look more aesthetic, then you can also add, some modifications to it. That on the top you can write student identity card, right? And here with the name, we can add student name inside the quotations and put a comma. You can add a colon to make it look nice. Student year, student, I'll put a comma in between, and lastly, contact details, and I'll put a comma in between. So now let's run and see what happens. So I'll write over here John, who is 19 years old, and I'll write a random number. So it says student identity card, student name is John, student year is 19, and contact details are given. So this is how you can create an identity card for anyone. This kind of a program can be used when you want to take different kinds of inputs from the user, maybe a sign-in form or any kind of details when you want to take from the user. This kind of programs can be used. Okay. Coming to our last question of this problem solving, after this, I guess this module will be completely clear to you that what we have studied in this module and how we can solve different problems related to this module. So our last question is that to write a program to take a user input as an integer. We will be asking the input from the user as an integer, and then we will be converting it back to a float. So let's do that. I'll create a variable called as a is equals to int input, and enter a number here. We will be asking the user to enter a number here. We will print this number, whatever this number is. Let's print it so that we'll come to know, okay, it's working it or not, it's working properly or not. Print. We will also print the type of this number to check. Now what we will be doing, we will be converting this a to an float. So a is equals to float a, and print the type of a as well. So let's run and see what happens. Enter a number here. So I'm gonna add, let's say, I need to write user input as integer. So let's say I'll write 24. It tells me 24, then gives me that it belongs to the classes of integer. After conversion, it converts it to 24.0 and tells me that it belongs to the classes of float. So this was before conversion, this is after conversion. 24.4 and belongs to the classes of float is after conversion, after we have converted the integer to the float. Alright guys, so I guess these questions are pretty much clear to you. I think you will be able to solve questions like these. I hope this problem solving would have been much more helpful to you, because I think the theory is, yes, easy to understand, but until and unless we do it practically, we are not able to do it properly. We're not able to understand certain things properly. So yes, encoding practical is really, really important. So that's all for this session. In this session, we learned how to solve problems related to the topics that we have covered so far in this module. I hope everything is clear to you and you're not left with any doubts or any questions. So stay connected, and we will be starting with a new topic in the next session where you will be learning a lot of things. So see you in the next session.